Hello, it is Thursday, the 8th of May 2025. Before proceeding, I'd like to take a moment to mention that I will be on an interim pause and that the spaceship is live. Welcome to Philosophically Speaking in Brief, Episode 8. Where do you begin? I am Lisa, and today we touch upon if the dismantling has already begun. What if disclosure is not only an unfolding event but a mirror? Will you face it masked or sovereign? By the time you find this, the window of opportunity may have closed, or could it be perfectly timed? Beyond those who hold the deepest reverence for truth in its raw, unfiltered form, presenting themselves unmasked, or the conglomerates caught in AI for platforms often run by hired hands servicing these platforms of fact, fictional narratives, or even those who work from the shadows crafting their experiences, visions, and narratives of the past, present, and what's to come, and the self-intuitive AI-driven insights, all playing their parts in development, progress, and connecting the personal allegorical messages to the aspirations of the many who are caught in wondering or questioning a much desired state, indication, or fulfillment. Within the scope of imaginative potential, consider this. Globally, by particular factions and individuals, it has been proposed that we are not alone, that we are the offspring, hosts, creations, or echoes of an intergalactic, cosmic, or divine source. Whether you personally view that source as physical, energetic, ancestral, or entirely ineffable, the penultimate query always remains that of your own past, present accountability, and your potential. Do you hold the capacity to navigate and materialize outcomes of a higher kind, more aligned with the nature of things, rather than those shaped by fear, confusion, or control? Given that both positive and negative, particularly within conduct, behavioral management, and societal values, are subjective concepts, beginning from a level playing field may offer the clearest foundation for understanding what positive and negative truly means. The lens through which we perceive right and wrong, just or unjust, is as programmed as it is personal. From neutrality, something new can emerge. As stated in earlier episodes, the only way to unearth the most accurate knowledge of Earth's history, our connections, our current status, our placement within the greater cosmos, and the path forward, will be in dissolving long-held illusions, ideally through a live disclosure event. Within those moments, the dismantling begins, not necessarily of chaos, but the lifting of veils. Now, whether The declining systems of today can sustain remnants in the mid-change, or even attempt to sustain and rebuild using old frameworks, going back to the idea of creating something new with the same ingredients, hoping for a different result, will carry its own consequences. In contrast, building in conjunction with fostering a unabridged existence and developing an entirely new recipe introduces alternative pathways, ones forged in clarity, not legacy. And within it all, one intimate truth remains: your sovereign accountability. The process of disclosure, of revelations, is not just about the lifting of veils, but the dismantling of illusions long upheld by many at every level through processes of convenience, entitlement, fear, and selective memories, to name a few. Therefore, the unveiling, by its very nature, cannot be clean or without consequence. It is messy, it is disruptive, it demands not only the re-evaluation of history but of identity, personal, collective, and cosmic. So when we speak of systems being undone, referring back to the reset as mentioned in episode 6, or its contrast, reclamation, as alluded to in episode 4, we are not just talking about governments and economics, but energetic infrastructures that have sustained and sedated civilization as we know it. Or, for some, maybe not. But let's call it what it is: a civilization built on selective remembrance, sanitized history, and convenient virtue. A civilization that, when met with truth, recoils, not because the truth is too harsh, but because it reveals complicity. The systems may fall, but so too must the stories that allowed them to stand. And here, amid the rubble of illusion, we arrive at the personal. Interchangeably as they may seem, responsibility and accountability are no longer theoretical. They are sovereign currencies in a collapsing marketplace of blame. So we must ask, what will, should, or could an individual do in the face of their own reckoning? Can one truly navigate the fallout, or merely endure it? Are we charting paths, or simply walking pre-agreed timelines towards inevitable convergence? For some, there may be no steering wheel left to grip, trapped within agreements made, chosen, karmic debts sealed before this incarnation began. For others, the weight of personal consequences may arrive in waves. Some may be forced to swallow pride, acknowledge participation, and sit with what they help create. Then there are those still clinging to power or reveling in influence, who will find that the echo of their intentions, whether hidden or obscured, will not be spared in this unveiling. Whether the consequence manifests within this realm or another, rest assured, truth has its own timing. But what of the quiet ones, the ones on the periphery, those who neither enacted great harm nor held great sway, but floated between the lines? What role do they play now? Is there, is there a path they can walk with intention, one that shifts their trajectory or anchors their sovereignty amid the chaos? And if all is laid bare, if the cosmic cards are finally turned over, what then gives one the right, the authority to rewrite or reroute their fate? Where do you begin? These are not abstract inquiries. These are the choices being asked of us now. Whether known consciously or not, everyone will be presented with a moment, a mirror, a point of return or no return. And when that moment comes, what posture will you take? Will you stand in knowing, fall in grief, or rise not in defiance, but in full remembrance of who you are, what you carry, and what you are here to restore? Because in truth, the greatest fear should never have been external. It should have been the silence within, where self-avoidance grew roots and denial became tradition. So if you erred, acknowledge it. If you've harmed, atone. If you've forgotten, remember. And if you've known all along but chose silence, the universe will honor your return, but it will not absolve your delay. Deliberate ignorance has a price, and it's rarely cheap. Always remember how you treated someone you knew nothing of. For some debts born of it are paid in regret. Thank you for joining me today on this journey. This is just the beginning. Keep reflecting, keep questioning, and stay curious. Until next time.